So you're gearing up for an AWS certification, and you know that the whole AI, machine learning, and analytics section can be a real beast. But don't worry, in this explainer, we're going to build your master guide to these services, so you can walk into that exam with confidence. You know, the first thing you notice when you start studying is just how many data services AWS actually has. You've got Kinesis, Redshift, Glue, Athena, the list just goes on. And it's so easy to feel overwhelmed, especially when an exam question hits you and you're thinking, which one do I even pick?
So, I want you to think of this session as us building your mental toolkit. We're not just going to list off a bunch of services. Nope, we're creating a kind of cheat sheet that's going to help you organize them in your mind, making it way easier to grab the right tool for the job when you're under pressure. Okay, you ready? Let's dive in.
We're going to start at the absolute foundation. Where do you actually store all your massive data sets? And then, how do you ask them questions? This is probably the most fundamental choice you'll have to make in just about any data architecture.
And really, at a high level, this choice usually boils down to two main paths. Are you trying to build a massive, superstructured data warehouse for all your ongoing business intelligence? Or do you just need a flexible, on-demand tool to ask some quick questions of data that you already have lying around?
All right, get ready, because this is your first critical exam tip. If you see a question that mentions the term data warehouse, or that acronym OLAP, which stands for Online Analytics Processing, your brain should immediately, instantly, jump to one service, Redshift. And here's why. Redshift is the heavy lifter. It is AWS's purpose-built petabyte-scale data warehousing service. It's literally designed from the ground up to handle those big, complex analytical queries you see in traditional business intelligence.
So when we say petabyte scale, we're talking about a truly mind-boggling amount of data. And OLAP just means it's optimized for those complex, deep-dive queries, not quick little transactions. And don't forget, there's also a serverless option now, which is great because it means less infrastructure for you to manage.
Now, for that other path, let's talk about Amazon Athena. I want you to notice the key words in this definition. It's interactive, it's serverless, and its whole job is to analyze data that is already sitting in Amazon S3. You're not loading data into Athena, you're using Athena to query data right where it lives. Big difference.
And this is where it really shines. Let's say you've got tons of log files or some report data just sitting in an S3 bucket. You need to run some quick, one-off queries using standard SQL, but you don't want to spin up a whole data warehouse to do it. That, my friends, is the perfect job for Athena. Okay, so you've got a handle on where to store and query your data. But how does the data even get there? Especially if it's arriving constantly, in real time. So let's move on up the chain to the data pipeline. In the pipeline, you've really got two main jobs to think about. First, you have to capture the data as it's being created, like right now. Think website click streams or data pouring in from IoT sensors. And second, you almost always need to clean up, organize, and transform that raw data to make it actually useful.
For that first job, the real-time ingestion, your go-to service is Amazon Kinesis. Whenever data is a continuous, never-ending stream, Kinesis is the front door that lets it all into your AWS environment.
Now, for the exam, you need to know that Kinesis kind of has two personalities. Think of it like this. Kinesis Data Streams is for when your applications need to react to live data immediately. But Kinesis Firehose, that's for when you just need to capture the stream, maybe do a light transformation, and then reliably load it into a destination like S3 or Redshift. Okay, now for that second job in the pipeline, getting the data ready. And the key word you absolutely must know, the one you'll see all over your exam, is ETL. It stands for Extract, Transform, and Load. Burn that one into your brain.
And when you see ETL, I want you to think AWS Glue. Think of Glue as your serverless data janitor and organizer. It takes all that messy data from your different sources, cleans it all up, and gets it ready so your analytics tools can actually make sense of it.
The way it works is actually pretty logical. First, a Glue crawler goes out and automatically scans your data to figure out what you've got, and it builds this handy data catalog. Then, you set up a transformation job to do all the cleanup work, removing duplicates, joining different data sets, you name it. And finally, Glue loads that beautiful, clean data into its final home. All right, next up, let's look at a couple of specialized tools. Now, these aren't for every single job, but when you do need them, they are absolutely essential. We're talking big data frameworks and specialized search. And here we go, another one of those super direct keyword triggers for your exam.
If the question starts talking about big data frameworks, Hadoop, or Spark, the answer is almost always going to be Amazon EMR.
So what is EMR? Well, it's basically a managed service that lets you run these massive parallel processing jobs using all those popular open source tools. We're talking about jobs that are just too big for anything else, like analyzing huge genomic datasets. When you need to bring out the big guns, you bring in EMR.
And then there's Amazon OpenSearch. Now be careful, don't confuse this with a general-purpose database. Its mission is very specific. It's built for things like log analytics, monitoring your applications in real time, and powering really fast full-text search. Like the search bar on a website.
Okay, one last service. And this one's a little different from the others. See, so far we've only talked about how to process your data. But what happens if the data you need for your analysis actually belongs to someone else?
Well, that's exactly where AWS Data Exchange comes in. It's not a processing service at all. It's a marketplace. You can go there to find and subscribe to all kinds of data sets from third-party providers, everything from financial market data to weather patterns to healthcare statistics. It's all about enriching your own data with valuable external context. Okay, let's bring it all home. This slide right here, this is your ultimate cheat sheet. It connects what you're trying to do, the perfect AWS tool for the job, and that key exam word that should trigger your choice. Seriously, I would pause here and grab a screenshot of this. This is the heart of that mental toolkit we set out to build.
And there you have it, a clear, simple framework for tackling the core AWS analytics services. We've taken that long, confusing list and organized it into a powerful toolkit, not just for your exam, but for the real world too. So the only question left is, with this new toolkit in hand, which data challenge are you going to solve first? Good luck!